Good evening, everyone. The so-called fiscal cliff is now just 52 days away.
But what exactly does it mean? It refers to tax rate increases across the board and spending cuts for defense and domestic programs ordered by law to take effect January 1st. How much of a jump for taxes? Well, according to the Congressional Budget Office, a family earning between $40,000 and $60,000 a year could see its taxes owed go up by as much as $2,000.
And both sides of the political aisle remain at odds about how to avoid going over that fiscal cliff. But what might happen if a compromise is not reached? Fox 11's Ben Krumholz takes a balanced look tonight.
Democrats and Republicans have yet to come together to discuss dodging the looming fiscal cliff, but both sides already differ on solutions.
I refuse to accept any approach that isn't balanced.
President Barack Obama says any solution must include tax increases for the wealthy. However, House Speaker John Boehner says he would rather see reforms in the country's tax structure.
It'll bring jobs back to America. It'll bring more revenue.
Both sides agree something needs to be done, but Lawrence University economics professor Merton Finkler says that isn't necessarily the case.
Is going over the fiscal cliff the worst thing that ever happened? Probably not. Is it negative? Probably so.
Finkler says it depends on the solution reached. He says choosing the wrong one could make things worse.
A bunch of short terms ends up being a long term that's not very good.
Finkler points to a Congressional Budget Office report released earlier this week. It shows if current laws remain unchanged, economic growth would decrease 0.5 percentage points and unemployment would be 9.1%. That's compared to extending current tax policies. The report shows economic growth would increase nearly 2% and unemployment would be about 8%. The second option looks better, but the report shows it would mean an extra $500 billion on the fiscal year's budget deficit. Finkler says a short-term solution likely isn't the answer.
If that's all we do, then we don't provide any incentive for businesses to think about long-term commitments to expanding, to hiring, to things of that sort.
Lawmakers from both sides are expected to start discussing solutions next week. Ben Krumholz, Fox 11 News.